It's Taste here from Blooded Kittens again. I'm with Sean Lowry, the overall winner at WarGames Con. He played Dark Eldar, amazing army. It was total mixed bag. It wasn't all one thing. It wasn't Venom spam. No. It was a bunch of different things. So just tell us about your list. Okay. A little bit.
I used an Archon that I think is pretty standard. He's you know, Venom. He's got the Husk Blade, Soul Trap, 2+ Invulnerable Blade, Shadow Field. You know, and honestly, I need him in the list to take out things like Mephiston, monstrous creatures, Sanguinary Priest. I had 2 games where he got Strength 6. I had one where he got Strength 10. His worth is 145 points. I mean, I got a squad of Incubi, because when you absolutely positively have to rip through 10 Marines, there's a job to do it. I've got 3 squads of Witches that have, there's 9 of them in each squad, and generally there's a Homunculi that goes with each one. My Homunculi are naked, except for one of them that's got the Shatter Shard. I don't have any fast attack choices. All the Witches and the Incubi have Raiders. Now my Raider upgrades have Aether Sails on every one of them, which is probably one of the reasons that I've won, actually. And a couple of them have Grizzly trophies as well. 3 of them have Shock Growls, and 1 has got the -1 leadership, everybody within 6 inches. I got 2 Ravagers with 3 Dark Lances, and I got 1 airplane that just came out a week or 2 ago that I got painted up. And it's got 2 Dark Lances, Splinter Cannon, and 4 of the standard missiles.
So you pretty much, you know, kind of had a variety of things, different upgrades, kind of the whole Swiss Army knife kind of army.
Well, what ended up happening is the way that I play it is it's about equal 50% shooting and 50% assault. And I'm so fast that what I can generally do is I can play to whatever my opponent's weakness is. I only ever went first 1 time in 1 game. Every other game I either let them go first. I had 1 game where I went first against somebody and voluntarily gave it away, just so I could reserve everything. And I had 1 game where I got seized on it, and you know, it was against Orcs, luckily. I don't deploy onto the table unless I think I can take you. And if not, I'm going to take it all off and I can come in from reserves. And the Aether Sails allow me to come into the reserves about 30 inches in. And as long as I can pick my fight, they're hard to beat. If you can ever pick where you're fighting me, I'm not going to make it. They die pretty quick.
So, you know, we don't want to waste millions of minutes, you know, because he actually has to go get on a trip. He has an 8-hour drive back to Mississippi, so we're not going to go through every battle, every mission, every game. But what were your highlights for the games that you felt like was the toughest game? Was there a critical 1 die roll that decided a game in your favor? Anything like that you could just remember the top of your head?
My toughest game was against Sisters of Battle, without a single shadow of a doubt. I played a fabulous, and I don't remember his name, unfortunately.
I think it's Russell Adams. Yeah.
He played a rough Sisters of Battle list, and it was difficult because I could not close with it, and I had to attempt to outshoot it and just try to demech him and then go in on him. And I think it ended up being I got a little bit more than him, like 17 out of 14 points. It was one of my worst games. But it was a scratch and a fight the whole way through. Sadly, the rest of my games, I got exceptionally lucky on matchups. I mean, I'd like to say that I'm just this brilliant tactician and it's all me and it's all the list, but you know, you got to make, when you got a good matchup, with Dark Eldar, you got to knife them and you can cut their throat and leave them bleeding on the ground. On the other hand, if it's a bad matchup, you just got to conserve your points.
So just go over with the 7 armies.
The first army I played was Chaos Demons, which was Niche, and it was as bad as a matchup as he could possibly do. I got Night Shields on almost all my shooting, and so I outshot him, and I outfight him, and I outmoved him. My second opponent was...
It's a long weekend, folks.
Yeah, it's a long weekend. I want to say that it was a Space Wolf player, and he was a really good opponent, and that was a tough match, and I wasn't like the top bracket at that point.
Yeah, right.
A third game, I think I played Blood Angels, and then I played Blood Angels again later. And then today, and that got me through yesterday. I ended yesterday, I think, with 101 points. But I really was, I think, 2 tables back, like on table 10. And then this morning I started off and I played against a Sisters of Battle player first off. And I did okay, enough to keep me in the running. And then round 2 I played against a Razor Spam Blood Angel army, and he capitulated in round 4. I had all but table him. He was out of troops, couldn't hold any objectives, and I was just cutting through everything with a red line. And then the last round I pulled Orcs, a Battle Wagon Spam army.
It's alright though, because I sat there. When I came back after...
Actually, I think 4 or 5 out of my games, my opponent had 1 model or 1 squad.
Well, But one thing I do want to talk about, specifically about your list, you mentioned it where you went over it, but there's a lot of internet hate on the fighters and the bombers. Just tell us about your experience playing the fighter and this new model that you just got.
I got the model and I put it on the table and I said, I played it a couple times and it did okay against my opponents. And I said, it's so awesome. The model is beautiful. I just painted it. I couldn't play without it. And I said, I'm gonna play it. And in addition, it does something that the list can't do. My list kicks out a large amount of poison shots. It kicks out a large amount of strength 8 AP2. And it can fight hand-to-hand combat. It does not do a lot of strength 6. And strength 6 is awesome when you got to wound a lot of orcs, when you got to kill witches and they feel no pain, when you want to room clear some guys, long things, when you want to room clear somebody, and it comes on the table and it drops 4 missiles, and after that nobody wants to shoot at it. And I never shot the 4 missiles. There were 40 points total and didn't make 100 points or more back. And also, you got to think about the elevation. Like my last opponent was battle wagons, and by the time I was done wrecking all the stuff, he had a wall of vehicles. They were extra special, kind of big, super badass looking battle wagons, and so they were big and thick. And all the orcs, they were piling behind it. I couldn't shoot them. Well, the airplane's got a higher elevation, and so I could see over all the battle wagons. As long as I saw them, I could shoot them. And every time it shot, you know, it's minus 4 inches, 4 large blasts in place. It does something the rest of the list can't do. I had 2 matchups where it wasn't that useful, but I would say most of them were. And unless, I think the internet tells you everybody's from mech, you're never going to fight anything but mech, and that's all you're going to ever see. And that's just a lie. You know, I think that people bring other stuff, people bring foot lists, people bring different
Especially
things.
over 7 games.
Over 7 games, you can't run that risk. And if nothing else, usually what I did was I was like, okay, you got a troop choice. I'm going to kill them. And a lot of, at least these missions were, go do this for your troops, hold this, score this, do that. And if I can wipe one of your choices out, you know, if someone only took 4 choices and you lose one immediately, it puts you under a little bit. It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
So I found it to be very useful. It got blown up 1 time over 7 games.
Awesome.
That's the only damage it took. I take its base with a flicker field, I upgrade the splinter thing to a splinter cannon, and a night shadow.
That's it.
175 points.
I said 5 points. Okay.
And I, you know what? In some games it was my MVP, and I had some haterade for it for a long time. I was like, why would I ever take this? It's so much more expensive. It doesn't have a dark lance. But sometimes you don't need that dark lance. Sometimes, you know. And besides, in my list at least, I have a bunch of dark lances, but I got a bunch of witches with haywire grenades. And when push comes to shove, haywire grenades will blow up pretty much anything you need.
Right.
So.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let this guy get back on the road, but you're gonna do some battle reports for Blood Kings a little bit.
I'm gonna at least do, once I have my mind straight, I'm gonna do the 3
gonna recover a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so look for that on the blog. Look for this interview on the blog. Also check out his blog, which the video you'll see it on there. It'll be linked there, but you can say it anyway.
I have Prodigal Son's hobby blog, and my list I posted 3 days before this. So if he doesn't post it for me, which I'm sure he does, but it will be on mine.
Yeah, you got it right
Take
now.
a look at it, and if you got any questions about anything, feel free to email me. I'm easy to contact.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks again, Sean.
Thanks, man.